The purpose of this video is to describe the naming convention that is to be used in VPO for all file attachments. Shown here on the screen is the naming convention that Simplus has found works best when routing documents between more than one party for processing. So, in general, the naming convention for all attachments should follow this formula up here. You'll have the project abbreviation, along with a type of document, along with a document number, and then in parentheses, a from and a to. So what does this mean? The project abbreviation should be a 3 to 4 letter abbreviation for the project name. The type of document should either be submittal, RFI, pay app, meeting minute, meeting agenda, letters, daily reports, or any other type of document that we normally process on a project. And what we're talking about here is using a short abbreviation to represent the type of document that is being routed. The document number will be any number that distinguishes that document from others of the same category. For example, a specific submittal number or the RFI number, etc. The from designation in the formula should basically be an abbreviation of the organization that is sending the attachment to somebody else. And the to designation in parentheses should be an abbreviation of the organization that is going to be receiving that attachment. So let's look at a few examples. A few examples of the naming convention are shown here on the screen. Now, for the purposes of this video, the definitions of some of the abbreviations down below are listed here. So again, the name of this project for this example is Signal Hill Library Project. We're going to use the abbreviation SHL. The contractor on this project happens to be Tobo Construction. We're going to use Tobo. Simplus Management is the construction manager. Simplus Management Corporation, so we're going to use SMC as the abbreviation. The architect is Robert Coffey Architects and Associates. For this example, we're going to use or call them RCA. Signal Hill is the owner. We're going to use SH. And MCE is the civil engineer of record. We're going to use MCE. So in example 1, we're going to pick a submittal, and we're going to show you how to name the attachments for routing a submittal. In this case, we're going to be receiving a submittal, and it's going to be submittal number 15145-2.14, which is from the specification section, and it's for cleanouts product data. So if the contractor was going to be routing that, they would route it, the contractor, from the contractor to the construction manager. We would route it, the construction manager, to the architect or engineer for review. We would also maybe send it to the owner if a submittal was going to require a joint review. And then once the architect reviewed it, he would be sending it back to the construction manager, and then the construction manager would route it back to the general contractor. So in this example, you can see that we have the project abbreviation, SHL, submittal for the type of the document, the actual spec section or number designation for this submittal, which should also match the submittal log. And then this easily tells us who it's from and to. So we would know by looking at the file name that this was from Tobo to Simplus Management. Then, once Simplus was done reviewing it, we would save it and rename it as SMC to RCA, indicating that this is the file that we were routing to Robert Coffey Architects for review. And then we would also save another copy, and this would indicate the name of the file that we sent from Simplus to the owner, Signal Hill in this case. Once the architect was done and incorporated their comments, they would save and rename the file RCA back to Simplus, indicating that this was coming back to the construction manager. And then once we reviewed it and added any additional comments, we would compile everything and save and rename the file SMC to Tobo. So anybody that was getting back into VPO would not have to guess as to what the files included. These are naming conventions that make it very easy to identify who the files are from and to and what they include. In example 2, we're going to give you naming convention examples for routing an RFI, in this case RFI 49, which is a utility conflict between a water line and a proposed storm drain line. So again, we're going to assume that the contractor, Tobo Construction, has identified a conflict. It happens to be RFI 49, and they're going to route it for processing and review to the construction manager. So in this case, it would be SHL for the project name. The document type is an RFI, the number, a very brief description. Just don't get too wordy here, but it's just a very brief description. And then you'll be sending this from the contractor to the construction manager. Obviously, if the construction manager can't respond to this directly and it needs further review, he would save and rename this and send it on to the architect, send plus to the architect. The architect might, in this case, as an example, need to send it to his civil engineer of record for further review. In this case, the architect would save it and rename it RCA to MCE, who in this case happens to be the civil engineer of record. Once MCE was done reviewing it and maybe responding to it, they would send it back to back to the architect, MCE to RCA. RCA would send it back to Simplus. Simplus would review it, save it, rename it, and send it back to the contractor. So under RFI 49, you might see these 6 different attachments, but because of the naming convention, you would know exactly which one you were looking at. If there are any questions regarding this naming convention, please call me or contact your Simplus construction manager. And again, this is a guide. Feel free to adjust this as necessary. Not everything is going to fit into this convention perfectly, so this is just a guide. Thank you.